Well, hey, everybody. A very happy Tuesday to all of you out there in TV land. Jonathan Cronstead, president of Kajabi, and Allie Goodsby, our... I did it again. I just got on. Yeah, here we are. We've got Inception happening here because you're live on my iPad, which is totally weird. But Allie, say hi to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
So, as you may know, we are here for another episode of Hashtag Ask Kajabi. Hashtag Ask Kajabi takes place on our public Facebook page and for our amazing Kajabi user mastermind every Tuesday and Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific, and we will be live answering your questions. Now, today is all about one topic, organic social media. Now, you may be wondering, Jaycron, does organic social media mean it was grown without pesticides and I can find it at Whole Foods? No, that's not what I mean by organic in this case. Organic in this case are the platforms that you're going to use for social interactions with your following or the following that you're building. It means that these are people that are engaging with you by choice or based on your content or based on your brand. This is not the people that are engaging with you based on paid advertising, pay-per-click, or any other type of paid media. This is really the friends, family, followers, and people that identify with you and your mission that are engaging with you. And Allie actually runs all of our social media here at Kajabi, and we are very excited to talk to you about platforms today. So, Allie, when you first got started with social media, what attracted you to using this new media? Like, why, of all of the places in marketing that you could have chosen, why did you choose social media? Why did you want to dive in there?
Yeah. So I think for me, my favorite thing about social media is aesthetics. And basically that means just the way that you present yourself online. And I feel as though social media allows you to do that the most creatively. I love seeing a business on social media that's doing social media well. And then when you go to meet the people that are running that business, they match the aesthetic that they put out online. So the idea that you can represent yourself in an authentic way, whether that be on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, they all have different ways of using them. And I just think that that's so cool. And I think that that's unique to social media, that you can't really do that on other areas or channels of marketing. And I just think that there's a way to creatively present yourself that is just so unique to social media. So I feel like that's kind of like how I got interested in it. And then also just because I'm kind of young and I feel like the millennial age group is super into social media. And so I love the idea of using it for a business sense as opposed to just personal.
Outstanding. So as many of you have probably noticed, social media has become something that 5-10 years ago used to be a nice to have, or let's see where it goes. Today's social media is an absolute requirement. It is something that advertising used to be finding your customers, and now social media is where your customers are, and you need to be there. Because if you're not, your voice isn't going to be heard, your brand is going to be challenged, and it's something that now the challenge is really keeping up with all of the portals and remaining relevant and knowing where your customers are going to be. I get questions all the time about, Jaycron, I want to start marketing my course. Where do I go? And when I think about Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, there are so many areas where not only are what you're going to do on those platforms different, how you communicate and how you build a following is going to be completely different. So our goal today is to take the questions you've got on organic social media followings and some of the best practices that we have found build success for Kajabi's social media following and make sure you have that information as well as answer your questions live. So, Allie, if someone was just getting started in social media, and let's not even make it platform specific yet, but they were just trying to understand how to be a good social media community representative, somebody that is likable, followable, what ideas would you have? Like how would you recommend they view social media? Like is it marketing? Is it a conversation? Like is social media more a cocktail party for me, or is it more a billboard on the freeway approach? Like what's the right way to do social media?
Yeah. So, well, there's not one specific formula to social media, which is kind of what makes it so great. You can approach it in many different ways and have success in many different ways. So that's kind of one thing that I love to put out there, that, you're not going to follow 3 simple steps and have millions and millions of followers. You're going to have a unique journey that you go on with your business. And I think that when you're starting with social media for your business, it's just important to be authentic and to truly present what your business is on those platforms, whatever platforms you choose. I just think that there's a way to represent yourself that is true to who you are, and that the content really is what's valuable. It's not about selling per se. There will be social selling involved once you get more established on the platform, but it's just about representing who you are correctly. There's kind of a thing in social media where, there's 50% of just content that you're putting out, quality content for your followers and for the people who are your customers, your consumers of your business. And then the other half of it is going to be a mix of social selling and kind of bringing awareness about your product or your brand. But half the time on social media, you're not even really supposed to, per se, sell your product. You're supposed to be giving consumers good quality information about the niche that you're in or about a certain topic. And you're really supposed to be informing them and letting them know about this niche and about this market, not just about who you are.
So it sounds like it's a lot more about authentic connection and engagement than it is about a marketing message. So
totally.
It's more about having people get to know you. Like, it literally is mimicking that human experience of a connection. That it's definitely like, if you hit them with a marketing message before that relationship is there, they're not interested.
Exactly. I think that that's kind of where some people might get a little bit lost in social media, is how do you bridge that connection between, like, okay, this is personal, or this is business, or this is quality content, or this is social selling. But you really have to identify who you are to your consumers and your followers first, and then sell them later. You have to build that trust. I think it boils down to trust and reliability and validity and all of those things that we talk about in marketing so much, that you want to have that foundational knowledge on your social media platforms before you dive into, like, hey, I have this awesome product, buy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and this is, there's a lot of analogies we could give that, kind of brings this into clarity. But the reality of it is, this is a slow date to your 1,000 true fans of a following. Organic social media is where you are going to build your strongest relationships. It's where you're going to build your evangelists, your raving fans. These are the individuals that do have an authentic connection with you. And that's why the organic social media experience is so leverageable in your business, but also so important that you don't take it lightly and immediately turn it into a selling conversation. One of the things at Kajabi that we really try to do is we are always approaching from a standpoint of value first. That we want to be putting unique, original, impactful content into our social channels that benefit people, that they're excited about, that they identify with. And then our big thing after we put the content out there is engagement. Like, most of your day is really interacting with all of our people on all of our channels, right?
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, like, literally the first thing I do when I get into the Kajabi headquarters is we actually use this platform called Mention, and it basically tracks anything that's said about your brand. You can set different channels for different keywords, and that's literally what I do for the first hour of my day, is look through who mentioned Kajabi, who tagged Kajabi, who tweeted Kajabi, and I interact with those people. And I really think that face-to-face or computer-to-computer interaction is what makes people want to come back, and they get excited. I mean, I get excited when brands tweet me, or when I respond to something on someone's Instagram and they respond back. I think that that's such a valuable thing, because people feel special in a way that, you took the time to actually build that relationship, and it's not just like, look at us, look at what we have and comment on it, but no, we want to establish a relationship with you and continue that.
So when we look at all of the platforms that are out there right now, and by the way, Barbara, good morning. Nancy, good morning. Great to have you. I think those awesome. Just want to say hi to everybody that is tuning in live. We love seeing your faces. So all of these platforms that are out there, and especially for a lot of people in the Kajabi universe that are already asking themselves, look, I only have so many hours in the day. I want to be able to impact something powerfully, but I know the only way I'm going to be able to do that is really focusing. If you look at Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat, if you could only be on one platform, which would it be? And I know asking any social media expert,
so hard.
If you only get one, it's terrible. It's totally like a little Solomon divide the baby choice. But here's the deal: one platform. Which one would it be for you?
Yeah. So to preface this question, each individual platform, I don't know if a lot of people outside of the social media world who are starting and who are new to it know this, but each platform does something super, super unique. And although they have similar features because it's all under the branch of social media.
Maybe rather than while you're thinking about the choice that I'm forcing you to make that you don't want to make, why don't we talk about each of those 4 platforms and kind of share where you feel like from an audience demographic and from what those platforms do, let's give everybody a view into what those platforms are.
Yeah. So let's start off with the big one, Facebook, which to answer your question, I think that I would use Facebook. I say that with like such hesitation as my only platform. If I were like to come into Kajabi and say I can only use one platform and dedicate all my time to that, I think it would be Facebook, only because it's kind of the most broad and covers all of the specific niche areas that each individual platform is. It's kind of like the parents of the social media, and then everything else branches out from that. But Facebook is a place where you can have user groups, like we have our Kajabi user group, where you can have really intentional conversation. Facebook is a place where you can host events, you can host live webinars like this, you can interact with your followers. It's the easiest to, well, besides maybe Twitter, it's the easiest to link through. So you can share articles about your brand or about your niche. You can share a lot. Facebook is just a hub for sharing, as a lot of people probably know, because a lot of our users use Facebook. So yeah, that's kind of like the big overarching platform that covers a lot of areas. Instagram, I would say, is really, really, really visually centered. So if you have a brand that's about photography, or if you have a brand, I mean, even if it's not a visual brand, Instagram is the place where you want people to see visually who you are. It's the easiest place to identify your brand image, what your brand colors are going to be, what kind of vibe you want people to get when they walk into your office, when they find your platforms on social media. I would say Instagram is just the place where you're representing yourself through image. And it's a little more difficult to link out to things on Instagram, that's why Facebook is such a popular place for people to post articles and engage in discussion, just because Instagram's not really for that. But yeah, and then Twitter, I think, is a lot more of fire rapid, kind of really a lot of content. You're engaging 24/7. Like every time I refresh our Twitter feed, every 5 minutes that I do it, you have completely different content available. So it's a lot quicker information, a lot of bite-sized information. So if you want to get a lot of frequently asked questions or a lot of just information about your brand out there, then Twitter is the place where you're going to be constantly streaming information. And the great thing about Twitter is that you can recycle old content. So like for Kajabi, we have tons of articles on our blog that just kind of get lost in the hustle of, we're putting out a blog post almost every day now. And so a great way to get content to our users is through Twitter. So you can just constantly be retweeting things and reposting things, because it's such a quickly moving platform. You're not really ever going to see the same content twice. Even if I'm posting the same blog post every single day, it's bound to reach new eyes every single time I post it. So that's kind of the cool thing about Twitter. As for Snapchat, we don't currently use Snapchat for Kajabi. I feel as though Snapchat's kind of more of a personal social media site. It's a little bit more direct engagement with like person to person. There are a lot of media on social media or on Snapchat, because it's a place where you can read articles and get in touch with a lot of current events happening. But right now we don't use it for Kajabi just because it's one more portal to plug into.
Yeah, and I want to actually talk about that a little bit, because if you think about the fact that it's like, we just literally admitted to you live on a social media portal that there is a portal that right now we are not leveraging. Now, a lot of people may say like, oh my gosh, how could you not leverage Snapchat right now? So Snapchat is something that we are enjoying seeing what it's growing into, that as marketers, we're always, and Nancy actually pointed this out quite nicely, and Nancy, thank you for saying that. She pointed out the fact that the right platform for you is where your customers are and where your communities are. And right now, when we look at our user base, Facebook right now is the place for us to be investing, building, driving content, and engaging with our users. That our demographics and our ability to serve our customers is best suited through Facebook. So if you look at it on a spectrum, Facebook is going to be the broadest base. Everybody from millennials all the way up to grandmothers looking at photos of their millennials all takes place on Facebook. Now we head all the way over to the other side of the spectrum. That's Snapchat.
Yeah.
Snapchat is the newest comer, most edgy, most millennial focused, And as they are maturing in their offering, it may or may not prove to be an amazing platform for engaging. Now, you will see a lot of marketers out there that are leveraging Snapchat because that's where they feel that their customers are. So to Nancy's feedback, the right answer is where your customers are. And right now for us, Facebook is where we are doing most of our engagement, as well as Twitter and Instagram.
Totally. And to add on to that too, it's super important whenever I talk to anyone who's, new at social media in general or wants to get their business started on social media, I always recommend start with one platform. I know that there are tons out there and that, everyone wants to have perfect Facebooks, Instagrams, Twitters, everything, but it's easiest to focus on one platform and really, really grow your audience on that platform and have good quality content. And then once you perfect kind of, in a sense, that platform, then start to branch out to the other areas. But it's all about doing your research. You really shouldn't start on social media if you haven't researched which platform is going to most effectively build your business.
So if you guys are wondering what I'm looking down at right here, we actually have you guys on this thread, and that's what I keep looking down to take your questions. So now, if you guys are here, it's hashtag Ask Kajabi, and we are about to get into the hashtag Ask part of our time together. So if you have questions, drop them in the chat. We did have a couple of them submitted earlier that we're going to be hitting now. But by all means, if you have questions, drop them in the chat. If you're catching this not live, go ahead and put your comments in the thread. We'll be happy to answer them as we go. So if you're not catching us live, what happened? We're here 11 a.m. Tuesday and Thursday. We would love to have you live. But if you're not live, please put your questions in there. We'll make sure to get them answered as well. So let's go ahead and jump in here. Ryan, I love having you on here, dude. So for those of you that know, social media is a great place to have fun. So Mr. Ryan Allred, great to see you, buddy. No, I'm not single. You've met my wife, Nicole. However, love you on here live and screwing with me. So ladies and gentlemen, that's what friends do to you when you have friends that are also on your social channels and you just watch that happen live. So hi, Ryan. So let's go ahead and let's dig into, someone asked, what about vlogging on YouTube versus Facebook Live? Ooh. So, Allie, what do you think?
That's a good question. We have talked a little bit on our marketing team about vlogging. We love that idea of kind of transparent, really authentic and open engagement with vlogging. For those of you who don't know, vlogging is just video blogging, and it's where a lot of YouTubers these days have, small little vlogging cameras that they'll take around wherever they go, whatever business meeting they're in, whatever, event they're at, and they just talk about their life and they share what they're doing with their followers. It's not happening in real time. It's all recorded before and then edited and then put on YouTube. I love the idea of vlogging. I think it's a great way to capture who you are and what your business, like a day-to-day life in your business looks like. However, I think that the time that it takes to, get a vlogging camera, you can always do it right on your phone. Our smartphones are honestly some of the best quality cameras you can get out there. But the time it takes to actually vlog what you're doing and edit it and put it on YouTube, I think that going live is a good alternative if you don't have that time to invest. If your business is super busy and this is just something that you want to do on the side, I think going live is a great way to kind of show that day to day in the life of your business. But yeah, I think vlogging is a great opportunity if you have that extra time to really sew into that. If you have a YouTube channel and that's where your audience is going to, like we talked about earlier, really doing your research about each platform. If YouTube is the place where you're going to get a lot of business interactions, then I would say go for it. I think it's a really, really cool way to show who you are to your audience.
And I would also say this is a great question that really brings back the foundational truth of if you're passionate about it, it's going to be amazing. Mm-hmm. If you're passionate about vlogging, you should absolutely be vlogging. And YouTube Live is a great way to be able to do that, but have the content live someplace that you can move it around and repurpose it. Now, if you're not passionate about vlogging and every time you have to vlog, you're going to hate life, vlogging is probably not for you. Like, I'll give you an example. Twitter, to me, is like I would rather literally slam my fingers in a drawer repeatedly than try to speak in 140 character sound bites. Not me, not my platform. Also, I don't think anybody's interested in what I had for breakfast this morning, what cereal I ate. It wasn't cereal, actually. It was eggs, in case you were interested. So Twitter's not for me. So I'm not going to build my personal strategy around Twitter because that's not where I'm passionate about. So if you're passionate about video and about being live, I think for us, we've seen the most success across the board with Facebook Live.
Yeah.
Really putting yourself out there in a way that is engaging, but also that is consumable is probably the most effective way, because everybody's already on Facebook. Your traffic, your desired consumers are there, whereas if you're vlogging, you're now going to be trying to either drive attention to your YouTube channel, you're going to be trying to drive attention to your blog, you're going to be trying to drive attention to a lot of different areas. I think unless you already have a mature base that you can point to those areas, either via an email list or something along those lines, Facebook Live would be where I would be starting.
Yeah, and the cool thing about Facebook Live too is that they actually like market it for you. I don't know if you've ever noticed at the beginning of a live video, it says, you're live, hold on, we're going to build your audience for you. And it'll send notifications to your followers, and it'll say, hey, Kajabi's going live right now, check it out. And so that's kind of a cool way. You don't even have to do really any marketing. If you have a lot of following on Facebook and you go Facebook Live, they'll do it for you. But yeah, I think you're so right about the YouTube vlogging thing, that if you're passionate about it, it's going to be great content. And maybe start on Facebook Live and see how that does, and see if that's something that you like to do, if people are attracted to that, if people are commenting, I love this content, this is a great idea. Then maybe expand that into a YouTube channel. Who knows? Maybe that you'll find your niche in that. But I agree with you.
So I've got a question here from Larry Pass. Hi, Larry. Thanks for joining live. I have maybe 20 friends on my personal profile. I created a professional page a little while ago that few people know about. How do I get an audience there?
Yeah, so I'm assuming you are talking about Facebook with the pages. I would say if you have an email list for your business, like if you're on Kajabi and you have a list, then market to them there. If you have a blog, write about your Facebook there. I always suggest to anyone on social media, have your social media links to like all of your channels on any email you send out, any professional, on your business card, anywhere you can slap that on there and just promote it a little bit more, do that. On the bottom of your website, that's a huge one. I can't even tell you how many people's websites I go on, and I go intentionally looking for their social medias, and it's not there. And that's just one simple way that's static. It sits there all the time. You have to do it one time, and it's marketing for itself. At the bottom of your website page, just link to all of your channels. I think that's a super important step to take. As for just getting more eyes on your Facebook page, just go and interact with people. So when you're on your Facebook page, go and like other people's content, go comment on other people's content. Just get your name out there in as many places as you can, interacting with quality comments, not just, like nice work or those kind of spammy comments, but actually talk about their content and reference things that they say, and, really drive up your engagement by engaging with other people. And then that'll get more eyes on your page, and hopefully people will like it and engage with you.
And Larry, one more little trick that I'm going to offer, and we've got some people on here live, so I'm about to share with you something that I think is a very cool strategy. One of the platforms that we haven't talked about that we will probably need to do a whole episode on later is Quora. And for those of you that don't know Quora, Quora is Quora, and it's a site where basically everybody interacts and you can ask questions and get answers to questions. So Larry, depending on your niche, getting onto Quora and answering questions is one of the biggest, best kept secrets to driving a massive amount of visibility of any platform I've seen. I know people that are getting hundreds of thousands of visits a month from the questions that they answer on Quora. And obviously you can link all of those to your social media followings, everything there. So if you're looking for, in my opinion, another great avenue of people that are interested in what you're talking about, but you want to begin to build that following and notoriety, Quora would be the ninja trick that I would be using.
I like that.
So, Allie, I have Barbara Simon. Hi, Barbara. I have a personal Facebook page under my name and pages under business names. Is that smart, or should it be all under my personal name, as some marketers suggest? I've got some thoughts on this. What do you think?
I think that hi, Barbara, first of all. Second of all, I think that it depends on your business. So let's say, if you run, let's take Kajabi, for instance. If you own Kajabi, if you're Kenny and Travis, if it's part of your brand that who you are ties into your business, then I think it could be a good idea to do that, to link those two and to have it interconnected. But if you have a brand where you never mention your name, it's not a personal brand, it's not about you, it's about some sort of idea or some sort of product or anything else, then I would say then I don't think it really matters that much if you connect it. It might boost if you have a ton of friends on your personal page and you want to get them over to your business page, then maybe it would benefit you that way. But I think that it just depends on what your business is all about. And if your face, your personality is part of the business, then it would definitely be beneficial. I don't know if you have...
No, I think from a branding perspective, I think you nailed it. I'm going to give the super boring businessy side of the question you just asked. So let's use an example that you will all be familiar with, Tony Robbins. So Tony Robbins, for those of you that don't know, I had the opportunity to work with Tony Robbins and Chet Holmes for a year and got to really know him, one of the most powerful motivational speakers of our time, and really has an amazing content catalog in business and personal development. And I think he is a really good example of somebody who answered that question and even went through different iterations of trying to answer that question of to quote Jay-Z, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. So three of you will get that reference, by the way. But really, it's the question of, are you the brand and are you the business? And the goal is to build that. And you don't ever care if you're building for an acquisition or for somebody else to come in and run that business, or are you building a brand? So if Apple was called Steve Jobs Inc., it would have been very hard for the company to continue to go on the merit of its brand and its products after it lost Steve Jobs. It has a brand. Apple is a brand. Apple will continue to grow and build amazing products. That's the value of separating the personality from the brand. Whereas in Tony Robbins' case, Tony Robbins is the business and is the brand. Now, Tony has at times tried to establish Robbins Research International and other brands that are not immediately tied to him, but in his business and his line of work, he is the embodiment of his brand. He is the embodiment of the methodology, and it's one of the reasons why he's been so successful, because people identify with him as the brand. He's the poster child for the brand. He looks the brand, feels the brand, lives the brand. He is Tony Robbins, and Tony Robbins is the brand of his products. Mm-hmm. So if you're building a business where you are going to be the representative of that brand, and it's a business that will always be you as the representative, I would say do it under your personal name. It gives you one site to manage, one brand to manage, simplifies your journey. Yeah. If it's something that's more productized or brand-oriented, or something where you anticipate building multiple platforms, who knows, maybe you've got different software ideas or different physical product ideas. There may be a reason to separate yourself from those brands and have the brands operate independently. Now, to be clear, it is a slower path to build a brand and a product than it is a person. Totally. A person immediately has a face. You're here right now, John and Allie are on the couch chatting with you. You can get to know us far faster than if we were only here representing a brand. For example, Kajabi. Kajabi, when it started, was very much Travis and Kenny, and those relationships are what you initially identified with. Relationships and people are easier to build rapport with. A brand is going to take some more time. If you see a logo and there's no person there, I don't know. How do I feel about that logo? Do I want to give them my money? Do I want to build a relationship with them? Very different process than, I like that person. I want to buy from that person. So I would say it largely depends on the type of business you're building and what your future goals are. And sometimes in life, you get to choose the challenges that you want. Do you want the challenges of a slower build with a brand and establishing its identity, but knowing that it will stand on its own 2 feet no matter who's behind it? Or do you want the speed and the immediate identification of a personality and move in that direction, but knowing that what you're building will likely be tied to you as a person? Right. So hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, Let's see what we got here. Remy, like Brendon Burchard, is going with other standalone products, Experts Academy or High Performance Academy. Definitely, Remy. Those are going to be products that are what Brendon would call an integrated product suite, all under his umbrella. And that's going to be something where those are going to be separate product categories that he is creating. So, again, those live under the Brendon.com umbrella. So it's going to be a hybrid approach where the products and the brands are self-evident, but they also are tied to Brendon's brand as well. So looking at that from a business structure, you've got a couple different options.
And kind of like on that too, Kajabi, I mean, like you said, it was originally a lot of the marketing up at the front end of Kajabi was, oh, here's Kenny and Travis, we're building relationships. Now it's a little bit more that Kajabi is the brand that can stand alone. Kenny and Travis are obviously still really involved in the marketing of Kajabi, but we also, like on our social media channels, on Instagram, for example, I always try to integrate people and faces in our office culture and our office life. And I think that those, if you look at the analytics, those posts often do better than just pictures of, what Kajabi can do or in the dashboard or that kind of stuff. So actually making a face-to-face connection is really, really vital in presenting your brand online.
Definitely. So Cindy Belle asked, hi, Cindy Ball, excuse me. Mm-hmm. Do you feel that Facebook groups are worthwhile? Many big-name marketers have recently shut down their free Facebook groups. So, Cindy, I'm not sure who you mean that shut it down. The only reason is I want to answer your question contextually. So, if you could reference some of them, because I don't want to indicate that there's a deficiency or an advantage to Facebook groups if they shut it down because they were going on vacation for 6 months. I have no idea. But what are your thoughts on Facebook groups, Allie?
I really enjoy them. I think a couple companies that I've worked with, including Kajabi, have had private Facebook groups that just foster community. And I think that there's nothing necessarily working against it, especially if the users generate the content. So in a Facebook group, like our Facebook group with our Kajabi users, they are the ones who are posting the stuff. I don't go in there. I don't have to schedule posts for the Facebook group. I don't have to make the content. It's a user group, and so it's user generated content. It's always flowing. There's always conversation. It's highlighting Kajabi in a really unique and cool way because it's from the user experience. So I don't think that there's necessarily like a right or wrong answer to this, but I do think that it's super valuable because it's user generated, and you just get to sit back and watch people discuss your brand and talk about the advantages that your brand has given them, and talk about how technical questions about your brand. And I just think that it's a really healthy and cool way to get your business conversation going and flowing with your users.
Excellent. Yeah, I would say on groups for me, I would just say that I think it's very much the grass is always greener where you water it. And what I mean by that is if you don't care for, feed, and maintain whatever group or community you have, there's no value. If you create a Facebook group and you show up into it once a month, it's not going to be of value to the people that are in it. If you create a forum or a group gathering, comment thread, anything in, like even on Kajabi, and you're not interacting with those people there, it's not going to have the desired result. So first of all, I would say whatever group that you do decide to create, recognize that the value will not come out of the creation of the group. The value will come out of the building of the group that gets more and more valuable over time. For example, our Kajabi user mastermind, we have thousands upon thousands of posts and threads on everything you can imagine related to Kajabi, largely provided by our amazing Kajabi users, helping each other, masterminding, collaborating. It's been incredible. It's certainly something that we dedicate a tremendous amount of resources on our team to being in that group, supporting that group, facilitating that group, and even diving in and answering questions personally. It's something that for us is woven throughout the fabric of every aspect of our company for interacting with our Kajabians. So it's definitely not like, oh, we should start a Facebook group, and then we just left it alone and never did anything with it. So wherever you do start one, I would recommend regular strategy for growing it and adding value to it. I think we're probably a little bit partial to Facebook just because the hardest thing in the world is to create a portal. A portal is a place where people gather online. And the reality of it is Gmail created a portal. Facebook created a portal. Twitter created a portal. There are lots of places where people are already trained to go to plug in, consume content, and interact. Now, is it possible that you could create that in a completely separate instance solely dedicated to your business? Yes, it is, if you have the time and the resources and the desire to do so. I would say if the goal is, and I think in your example, supporting users that are consuming an online course, I think Facebook groups are a great way to do that. And I think that if it's serving your clients in the way they want to be served, you're going to have amazing results doing so. I can't really speak to why some marketers shut them down. Who knows if it was a pivot in their business? Who knows if they wanted to rebrand or move in a different direction? Who knows if the group became unwieldy and they didn't have the resources to dedicate to the proper care and feeding of that group and it didn't fit their business anymore? Couldn't tell you why they did it. like I said, maybe they just went on vacation for 6 months and were like, I don't want to check in on this. So not really sure why, but I will tell you that for us, our Facebook group has been amazing. We love interacting with our Kajabians in it. It's provided some amazing insights for the future direction of how we build what we build and how it's utilized. So I would certainly say a Facebook user group would be outstanding. So we've got time for one more question. Let's see what we've got here. All right. Nancy, thank you so much. You're all over this thread. I love it. And Cindy, thanks for saying thank you. You're here live. We want to make sure that you have a good time. So
I will say something, a little additional. I know we talked a lot about Facebook, but I think one thing that I really wanted to inform and teach about is just the idea that even especially if you're doing online courses, your content is so important for social media. Just like it is, your content is the driving force behind your online courses, your content is the driving force behind your social media. So having multiple platforms and spreading yourself super thin is not going to benefit your business. Having quality content is what's going to make and set you apart and just allow your interactions and your followers to really, really engage with you. So I think that's just the one thing that I really wanted to leave with everyone and make sure that people are supported by that and encouraged by that it's not about being on all these platforms and juggling all these things. It's about what you're producing on the platform that you are on.
So I think that is probably a really great point to chat a little bit about and conclude on for this Tuesday's hashtag Ask Kajabi. We'll be back on Thursday at 11 a.m. with a super exciting topic that I'll tell you more about tomorrow. But this idea of quality over quantity, I think, is really, really important. That if you look at Quora, a well thought out, well worded response will get 10x or 100x the traffic and engagement that somebody just putting up the bare minimum will. I know that many of you saw, we've done some broadcasts with Neil Patel, a good friend of mine, one of the best content marketers in the world. It's not about publishing a blog post every single day. It's about making sure that when you publish, it's over 2,000 words, it's very relevant, very actionable, and that you're publishing on a same schedule, whether that's once a week, once every 2 weeks. But as long as you can produce something that is relevant and quality, that's really where your leverage point is going to come from. And Allie, would you say that holds true regardless of the platform, that it's really about the quality?
Yeah, I think so. And like you said, it's quality over content and just making sure that a lot of businesses nowadays, like Kajabi, have a social media person, and that's all that they're doing. That's all that they're focusing on. I mean, my whole day is Kajabi social media. And so if you're an online business owner and you're doing everything for your business, you're in charge of every single aspect of your business, you really need to be focused and specific about the way that you present yourself on social media. Just slapping a picture up on Instagram because you want to be out there is not going to make it in the business world. You want to think thoroughly about the things that you're putting out there because essentially it reflects on your brand. And you wouldn't just slap an online course up on Kajabi and say, oh, well, let's just see how it does. No, you're going to think about it and you're going to really make sure that it represents who you are and the message you're trying to get across. So I think just slowing down. Social media can tend to be a place where it's content, and you want to get everything out there and you want to be the person that's on the top of everyone's feed, but just slowing down and taking a breath and thinking about the way that your business should come across when people search in Google or when they search in Instagram or Facebook or Twitter. You really want to present yourself in a way that's going to be, the best for your business and not just putting content out there to fill the space, because we don't need any more content in the world. We have a lot out there.
That's very, very true. We definitely don't need any more half-baked, half-done content just thrown up there.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing that, I would share that Allie talked about a little bit earlier is really, this idea of authenticity and being who you are all the time and being able to share that with the people that are identifying with you is crucial. One of the reasons why you see us wanting you to meet more of our team here at Kajabi is because we have awesome, amazing, committed, passionate people that are all here to drive results for your businesses. That's why that we're all here. As you got to meet our VP of product last week, Jeremy, you've now gotten to meet all things social media, Allie. And for those of you that are on any of our channels, now you can say hi and bother her and ask her all kinds of great questions.
Yes.
So
ask me questions.
And now you know that, like, if you get mad on any social channel, you can't be mad because she's too nice. So, like, that's part of the strategy too. But just be authentic. Be willing to make those connections. Be willing to talk about what you're doing right, what you're doing, where you screwed up, what you did wrong, what you learned from it, where your business is going. People like to buy from people. And that's where that human connection comes in. And that's where social media has allowed us in a lot of ways to have those one-on-one relationships take place at scale. But they can only take place at scale if they're quality and if they're authentic.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the reason why, I mean, at least I think part of the reason why I joined the team at Kajabi was to better devote time to translate who we are into our online presence. Like, we want people to know the faces at Kajabi and the story behind Kajabi and the heart behind Kajabi, and social media is a great way to represent that without spending, so much money doing marketing efforts, but just being authentic and just saying, hey, this is our VP of product, Jeremy. This is our Kajabi dogs. I post about the Kajabi dogs all the time because we have dogs running around the office all the time, and we want that to be available to our users.
Not only do we have dogs running around our office, but there is a gentleman, one of our developers, who is like truly an amazing, amazing individual. And if you ever get the chance to meet him, he did a Kajabi hero interview. If you want to go back to our blog and you'll see him. Mm-hmm. But he actually has a dog bike. This is a bicycle that has a cart built on the front of it. It's an electric assisted bike that literally his awesome little puppy that you've seen photos of on our Instagram, her name is Bon Bon, literally cruises in this basket, comes in, on her bed and everything. And this bike is so freaking cool. Like, I think it'll probably show up on our channel.
Oh, it will.
Just because we have great photos of it. But that's part of how we're authentic. So, certainly something that, stay tuned. A lot more fun to come. Allie, before we wrap this episode of Hashtag Ask Kajabi, any closing thoughts for our viewers out in TV land?
I mean, don't be afraid to ask questions anytime about social media. I'm here. I am readily available. If you want help or just have any general questions about social media, I would love to help all of our Kajabi users grow their businesses online. We do have a blog post out that was a couple weeks ago. We posted about 6 tips to better your social media photography. So we'll definitely have more content out there that's there to help you build your social medias. But yeah, if you want to check that out, it's on our blog, and I'm here readily available for everyone.
Awesome. So for those of you that chose to join us live, thank you for being here for another installment of Hashtag Ask Kajabi, taking place every Tuesday and Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. 11 a.m. Pacific, Tuesday, Thursday. We will look forward to seeing you live this coming Thursday. Take care, everybody.